Hey guys, Hammeh here, how's it going? Now, news for you, Doomfist looks as though he's going to be on the way sooner than we might have thought. Well, it appears we have some proof for that from a couple of different angles. One of them is actually weirdly crash logs that have been found by an eagle-eyed Redditor today, and I've managed to replicate and double check. The second is some mining of the Summer Games, which I'll talk about as well. Before I get stuck in, I know it's been quite a newsy week for me. Overwatch lore is coming back in the next couple of days and early next week. That's what my channel's mostly about, as well as any new voice lines and interactions that will come from looking at the new files as well. So hang on in for those. Thanks for your patience on the news. Right, let's talk about Doomfist. So, source number one. Crash logs. Well, someone called Crapper Creeper was trying to work out why his highlights weren't saving. So he went to have a look at his crash logs. Now you can see these on your PC in your documents folder under Overwatch and logs under your user. It's a pretty easy thing to do on PC. He actually saw that the name of the build and log number of the game was Doomfist Summer Games for 1.13. Now, given the presence of a few trolls in the Overwatch subreddit recently, I did get called out by one of the Summer Games icons. One time I didn't check the in-game files myself. Fool me twice, shame on me. I checked this with an independent source and back-checked other crash logs of my own, and this is legit. Take a look at my crash log from the 31st of May. My own crash log there is called Moon. Another player, Raxin, had crashed when doing his highlights. He kindly sent me his log, and this is what it said. So there you have it, another point of verification. Now the fact that Doomfist is coming is probably no massive surprise to anyone at this point. However, this does give us a time frame, which is quite cool. Let's go on to point number two, the PTR current game files. Now, the clever people who make various software that lets people delve into the game files for sounds, 3D modelling and similar put an update through today. On poking around, three interesting things became visible. Now, I've replicated all of these. The first one that's most interesting is missing hero metadata, which I'll explain first. We also learn a bit more about potential Summer Games skin and cosmetic information, like I've covered before, potential new map information, and something called Event 8, mysteriously, that has its own separate set of cosmetics bound to it in some way or another. First things first, hero metadata. When listing out the cosmetics, you get a section a hero in this data export tool. Now you can see here that in the Summer Games sections above and below, there are some missing information under the section of cosmetic, and it's locked by a key next to it. Underneath that, you can see that there is actually hero metadata missing with a different key to that key for the Summer Games. So you've effectively got two different keys hiding two different sets of data. The Summer Games data and what probably looks to be new hero data of some kind or another. So there is something there. It might not all be there, but we can't unlock it right now. It is on the PTR, and given that it's hero metadata from the way that this is laid out, it's another thing pointing to the fact that Doomfist is probably coming pretty soon. If the Doomfist files are on the PTR, or some are, and under lock and key and being tested. Okay, next up, the Summer Games. Well, a lot of people have been saying Lucio Ball is returning. It does seem to be. In the map files section, you can have a look there. We can see Estadio de Res is back in the PTR build, as well as Soccer 2. So Lucio Ball is most probably going to be playable if the files are being resurfaced again. Now, look at this, there's another map at the bottom, as I pointed out last time before the anniversary, under another key. So if Soccer is already there invisible, Lucio Ball is already there invisible, could we get a new game mode? And if so, what would it be? I'd love us to see a different Summer Games sport. Olympic is trademarked up to the eyeballs. A different Summer Games competition of some kind. I wonder what it could be, but I'm really looking forward to find out, and that'll be a nice way of refreshing the event. Okay, so what could we see in terms of cosmetics? Well, in my anniversary event Datamine explanation video, big breath there, I explained how you can effectively look at what's missing, like the hero metadata, with these keys and with the cosmetics, to have a very, very rough shot at working out who will get how many of what in terms of cosmetic updates. So I read through all the info, and here's the breakdown of who currently in the PTR build, it might not all be there yet, has each number of items coming. At the top of the list we see Sombra and Orisa. That kind of makes perfect sense considering that last Summer Games neither hero existed at that point. So they will have some things to get them caught up with the other heroes that they'll need to add to their cosmetic libraries. These might not necessarily be skins, they could just be defaults, we don't know. Things like sprays, voice lines, etc. Next up is Ana, which is an interesting one with 3. It means that she might get something of a bit more interest or a bit different. We then have a whole bunch of heroes on 2, through Reaper, Mercy, Hanzo, Pharah, Widow, McCree, Junkrat, Zarya, Soldier and Lucio. Now remember, of course, Lucio had a skin last time, Zarya had a skin last time, as did Widow, Mercy and McCree. So who knows, these could be highlight intros, some of these could get skins, we just don't know at this point. Really, a bunch of different things could be on the cards. Maybe it's not going to be voice lines, but we just don't know. However, if we look at the people that have just the one item at this point in time, it probably means that they're less likely to be getting something. Tracer had a skin last time, she's had quite a few legendaries. And yeah, Tracer's got quite a few legendaries already, I think it's safe to say. A lot of the other heroes there have had quite a few skins recently, maybe with the exception of Zen. Zen feels like a bit of an outlier there. Who knows, maybe Zen could have a Summer Games skin. A lot of you in the comments have been saying you'd love to see tennis playing or tennis balls in Yata. So he feels a bit of a surprise, but fingers crossed our favourite Omnic Monk will be getting some love in this Summer Games update. Just jumping over to that common column, there are a couple of people, Orisa and Mercy, who actually have an additional item under key in the common column. Now I think if you remember, Anna got the pillow spray an update or two ago, so I think that Orisa and Mercy in this common column, because it's in the spray section, are going to be getting a couple of extra sprays as well, so let's keep an eye out for those. And to round this video off, Event 8. What is Event 8? Well, Sombra is getting something in Event 8, as is McCree, Junkrat, Soldier, Tracer, Reinhardt, Bastion, Symmetra, Genji and Diva. Now, thinking of Event 8, it could be a couple of different things. Reading number one, and I think it's more likely to be this, is that there's some way of separating out existing or old Summer Games items from new ones, perhaps? So Blizzard have obviously got a patch on the PTR right now that has decreased the duplicate chances in loot boxes, and obviously with a new event coming soon and the first repeating event happening, this has been part one of their action to stop duplicates getting too crazy, too out of control, and the feeling of duplicates getting a bit rough. However, are they still going to try and maybe separate out any new items that come from the old item pool? Are you going to be able to draw from two separate pools? Or are all of these Summer Games items going to be in one pool? Now what's worth noting at the moment is that all of the Summer Games items I've listed here that are new under keys are currently just filed under Summer Games, so it looks as though they might all be in the same crate. So if so, that would probably lead more credence to the second thing, Event 8 being an entirely different event in some form or another anyway. Now remember of course that the gold loot box that was data mined and had a look at a little bit before the Twitch Prime promotion that we saw a couple of days ago come out was also filed in the game's files as an event in itself. The anniversary event that I covered in my old video was also called an event, so it feels as though that these could be for just some entirely separate event, but then what could it be? It's going to be fascinating to find out. Either way, it doesn't seem as though the Summer Games are too far away, and Doomfist, well, he might be a lot sooner than we think. Final thoughts, when could we expect to see some of this? Well, Blizzard seem to like releasing some content every month, like something big every month, like a map is a big thing in a month. Don't forget that an event is a big thing in a month as well. So in May, we had the anniversary. This month, we've had Horizon. What's going to happen in July? What's going to happen in August? Well, we've got Doomfist, we've got the Summer Games. Now, have a think about it. August is Gamescom, the huge German gaming festival, celebration and trade show, convention and festival that loads of people go to from all across Europe. I was there last year checking out Eichenwalde, uploading gameplay for you and things. It's loads and loads of fun. Point is, Blizzard support that quite a lot. It's a place which is good for a big announcement. So, if you're thinking about it, is it going to be Summer Games or is it going to be Doomfist that would be at Gamescom? I'd put my money on the fact that if you were going to go between the two, maybe Doomfist would be the Gamescom announcement. Who knows? Announcing a hero at Gamescom would be a big deal, but then what would happen at BlizzCon in November? Remember that Jeff has said in developer updates and interviews they'd like to keep the amount of heroes released per year roughly the same, or maybe even decrease it a bit so they can spend more time on each hero and pay a bit more attention to them. So maybe we'll see the Summer Games next month, but always think of it with a piece of content a month in mind, whether that piece of content is an event, or it's something like a map, or it's something, you know, as huge as a new hero. If we have something big in one month, it's quite unlikely we're going to see something brand new in the very, very same month. So if I was a betting man, I would say that we could see the Summer Games maybe next month, and perhaps Doomfist in Gamescom August, coming up very, very soon. However, if we don't see anything of Doomfist in the next couple of months, my money would then turn towards BlizzCon. Obviously, Blizzard's own convention in America every year, the biggest place where Sombra was announced last year, and if they're going for 2 heroes a year, we may want to keep an eye out for him then instead. But the very, very fact that 2 different sources point to him being tested in some way or another should give us cause for optimism that perhaps it could be sooner rather than later. What do you think? Thanks very much for tuning in. Do throw a like, subscribe, comment below. Are you excited for Doomfist? Are you looking forward to Lucio Ball? What do you think a new game mode could be? And what could Event 8 be as well? So many questions happening. And the real mystery, what is Mercy's common spray going to be? Like Anna's pillow spray, I'm really looking forward to that. Do check out all of my usual Overwatch lore interactions and voice lines. I know it's been quite a newsy week for my channel, as I said at the beginning, but Overwatch lore is coming back to you in the next few days and early next week as always. Got some skin lore, some map lore, and some cool stuff coming to you as well as a 3-part series that I've been working on for ages, and the first episode of which is almost finally ready. So looking forward to sharing that with you. Cheers for tuning in. I've been Hammeh. Take it easy.